Hi, welcome to English 8 on Air. This is Teacher Carl of F. Bangoy National High School who will help you achieve your learning goals. I know you're quite fascinated of what will be our lesson for today. But before we proceed, always remember three important things. First, be in your most comfortable learning area. Second, prepare your notebook, module, and pen. And finally, enjoy while learning. So just relax and listen attentively as we go along with our new lesson, which is conventions in citing sources, which could be very helpful in writing and research. At the end of this video, we are expected to recognize APA format as convention in citing sources, discuss the different formats in APA parenthetical in-text citation, and visualize how the APA citation works on different scenarios. Today, let me share a very short clip. Watch and listen.
This is Pedro, a grade 8 student just like you. His teacher gave them an assignment to write a poem and was given 1 week to prepare for the class presentation. But for some reason, Pedro could not think of anything to write. So, he went on the internet to search for poems. He found the perfect poem and changed some words, wrote down his name as the writer, and finally submitted it to his teacher. During the class, the poems were returned except his poem. The teacher then called Pedro's attention and directly asked him, "Pedro, was it you who wrote this poem?"
Why do you think the teacher asked Pedro? Have you done what Pedro did? Then, you should definitely keep watching. You found some really cool information on the internet, and you want to put it on your research project. Sounds great. It's always nice when you find the perfect information that is helpful to your research. But before you put that information into your paper, write your name and submit it just like what Pedro did. Then, there is something you should know. Do you know what may possibly happen? Yes, that's right. You could get into trouble. Why? Because that is a form of academic dishonesty. What Pedro did is an act of stealing one's work as if the poem he submitted was his own thinking, rather than the idea of the writer. This act is called plagiarism. Yes, you heard it right. It's plagiarism. Are you familiar with this word? Plagiarism is when you use someone else's words or ideas without crediting the source and pass them off as your own. Well, yes, you may say committing plagiarism might save your time and effort, but it comes at a high price. Would you like to fail your subject? Get suspended? Or even the worst, get expelled? Of course not. Now you might ask, can I still do research and use the writer's ideas without plagiarizing? Of course you can, but you need to cite or document your sources. Your sources are the materials in which you found the information that you used. Let us take a look at some examples of sources. We have magazines, newspapers, books, interviews, music, websites, videos, and many more. All of these sources were created by someone. That work is that person's intellectual property. When you document your sources, it is important that you need to give credit when you use an author's exact words and when you summarize or rewrite their ideas. And I am here to help you how to do it. Are you ready? There are different ways to cite your sources, like MLA and Chicago style, but one of the most commonly used formats was developed by the American Psychological Association, also known as the APA Parenthetical In-Text Citation. Parenthetical in-text citation is a concise way to identify the source of a certain information. They are citations found in the text of a research project. So, what's in the illustration? Good! You are right. It is the author's last name and the publication year. When quoting, there are other locators such as the page number, timestamp, paragraph number, or even a heading. And there's another thing that you should know. There are 3 options to format parenthetical in-text citation, and these are idea-focused, researcher-focused, and chronology-focused. Let's take a look at this example. First option is the idea-focused. How to do it? Place the author and date in parentheses at the end of a sentence, and do not forget the period. Then, for the researcher-focused option, write the sentence as if it was given by the author. Place only the date in parentheses. And finally, for the chronology-focused option, integrate both the author and date into your sentence, like this one.
Were you able to follow? Well then, very good. Now, look at this scenario. What have you noticed? Yes, you are right. It contains multiple authors and it can be quite confusing.
If your source has 2 authors, you use an ampersand between them followed by the year. If your source has 3 to 5 authors, then for the first citation, you list all the authors and only use the ampersand for the final one. From the second citation onwards, you only need the first author name followed by et al., which means and others. And if a source has 6 or more authors, use et al. Right from the first citation. Don't forget the comma. I am pretty sure you were able to follow. Here is another situation.
Is there any author in the illustration? Sometimes, you just can't find all the information that you need to cite a source. But you don't need to worry. There are some guidelines for this.
If the author is unknown and you know the organization that created it, for example, DepEd, then you should use the organization name. If you don't, then use the title. When using the title, put it in italics or in double quotation marks. Another thing is, you might also come across sources without a publication year. In that case, use ND for no date. That's simple, isn't it? For sources found online, you will need to write a regular parenthetical in-text citation. Simply include the author and year of publication. The URL or the website address goes in the reference list on the last page of your research project. Now, you are already familiar with the basics in citing sources. In this part of the lesson, we will try to assess your understanding. We have 2 sources here. Let's try if you can cite them properly.
Let's try to check. For the first resource, it has only one author. You may use either one of the 3 options in using parenthetical in-text citation. You may put the author, comma, and the publication year inside the parenthesis at the end of the sentence. Or, you may rephrase it like this. Only put the publication year in parentheses. Finally, you may do it like this. Integrate both the author and the year in the sentence. For the second resource, it has no author, so you should use the title. Remember, you may italicize the title or put double quotation marks. Were you able to cite the sources correctly? Very good! I knew you could do it! Congratulations, grade 8 learners! To sum it up, we have discussed the importance of citing sources on your research. Next, we have talked about the different formats that are commonly used in doing in-text citation. And finally, we have pointed out the guidelines to follow if not all information is present in citing a source. With all the rules mentioned earlier, writing in-text citation should be easy for you now. And I am certain that you will never do what Pedro did on his assignment. I hope that you have enjoyed learning on today's lesson. Do not forget to answer all the activities found in your modules and always submit it on time. If you have some questions, please feel free to contact your English teacher. Once again, this is Teacher Carl helping you achieve your learning goals. Till next time.